Far away from Earth, in the heart of the galaxy, the Grand Council of Xeon sat in silence. A strange signal had arrived, weak, old, and broken. Yet it carried something no one had heard in a long time, a human voice. The room filled with fear. Most species in that chamber had never seen a human. Many believed humans were just a dark legend, a warning from ancient history. But the older races remembered. They remembered the wars. They remembered the fall of great empires at the hands of humans. And they remembered the old law. If humanity returns, we must unite or be destroyed one by one. The signal was traced to a small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy. It was Earth, once believed to be lifeless after the Great Silence, a war that had ended all contact from the planet thousands of years ago. Earth was supposed to be dead. But now, something was moving again. In the cold darkness of space, a single ship was seen rising from Earth's surface. It was old, broken, and slow. But it flew with purpose. Aboard it was one man, the last known human. No one knew his name. His face was calm, but his eyes held something ancient, something that did not belong in this age. The Galactic Patrol picked up his ship quickly. They did not attack, not yet. Instead, they captured it and brought it to a secure space station, far from the core worlds. Inside the station, the alien scientist Xerac waited. He was from a peaceful race known as the Lyrians, known for their long lives and curious minds. Xerac had studied human history for years. He had read the old warnings. Do not engage, do not teach, do not let them remember. But now one was standing before him, alive, breathing, watching. The human was silent at first. He did not speak any of the galactic languages. He looked around slowly, studying everything with calm focus. Xerac noticed that the human did not panic, not even for a moment. That was strange. Most species feared the unknown. But this man? He observed it. Xerac tried to speak using basic signals and holograms. At first, the human only blinked, not reacting much. But after just a few hours, he began to copy the sounds, then the words. In a single day, he learned enough to respond. My name is not important, he said, slowly and clearly. But I am not the only one. Xerac felt a cold wave run through him. The human was not supposed to be intelligent enough to adapt this fast. No being learned that fast. No being remembered so clearly after thousands of years. They began running. Tests. The results were terrifying. The human brain was different, highly advanced, far beyond anything known today. His memory, his learning speed, his instincts, all showed signs of deep genetic memory. Somehow this man carried knowledge from the old human empire, from the time when humans ruled the stars. Xerac tried to warn the council. He sent messages filled with urgency. But most leaders laughed. It's just one man, they said. One broken relic from a forgotten race. But Xerac knew better. He had read the stories of ships that moved without engines, of weapons that controlled gravity, of soldiers who walked through fire and never burned. All of it created by ancient humans. The human spoke again after 2 days. This time he asked for a map. Show me. The stars, he said. Xerac hesitated, but then showed a projection of the galaxy. The human scanned it with his eyes. Slowly he raised a hand and pointed to a location no one ever visited anymore. A place called the Black Silence. It was a region of space where no signals ever returned. Many believed it was cursed. Some said it was a graveyard of war. But Xerac knew that it was where the final battle with humanity had taken place long ago. You want to go there? Xerac asked. The human gave a small smile. I was born there, before your kind could even dream of space. Zirak's hands trembled. The words did not make sense. This man was not that old. And yet, in his voice, there was truth. A deep, painful truth. Something was happening. Something big. And Zirak was standing at the edge of it. Outside the station, the stars kept burning, unaware of what was about to return. The council ignored the warnings. They believed they had time. They believed they were safe. But in a cold, quiet cell, a human sat, remembering. Not just his life, but the lives of thousands before him. Soldiers, scientists, kings, monsters. They thought humans were extinct. They were wrong. They thought the war was over. But it was just sleeping. They had found humanity again, but humanity had already found them. The human was moved to a special lab deep inside a military space station. Guards were placed around him. No one trusted him, but no one dared to harm him either. Zirak, the alien scientist, was the only one allowed to speak with him. At first, Zirak thought he was studying a lost man, maybe the last of his kind, but very soon he noticed strange things. The human didn't sleep much. He didn't panic. He spent hours watching screens, listening to alien languages, and solving puzzles designed for machines. By the end of the second day, he could speak 3 alien languages, fluently. Zirak was shocked. "How are you doing this?" he asked. The human just smiled slightly. "I'm not learning it," he said. "I'm remembering it." Zirak didn't understand. "What do you mean, remembering? These are alien codes. You were never taught this." The human leaned forward. "Do you believe in memory passed by blood?" Zirak's eyes widened. "Genetic memory. It was only a theory. No species had ever shown it before. But this human, he was unlocking it." Scene transition. Lab testing room. They ran brain scans on the human. The results were impossible. His brain was rewriting itself in real time. Every new thing he saw, it stored permanently. Every time he touched something, he understood how it worked. He looked at alien technology and started reprogramming it, without being taught. Zirak's internal thoughts, voiceover style. He is not the last human. Maybe he is the first, of a new kind. Faster, stronger, smarter. Maybe he was made to start again. Plot development. The human started asking questions about ancient galactic wars, about places that had been destroyed thousands of years ago. He knew details that no outsider should know. He even described alien leaders who had died before he was born. Zirak asked, "How do you know these things?" The human answered quietly, "I've seen them. In dreams. In pain. In death. I've lived many lives, all human." Twist, then something even stranger happened. One night, the human drew a map on the wall of his room using only his fingers. It wasn't a normal map. It was a star map. And it showed a hidden part of the galaxy, a forbidden zone long sealed by the council. When Zirak showed this to his superiors, they froze. That place was the core vault. It was where the old human empire's data was locked away. Forever. No one knew how to access it. But this human did. He pointed at the center of the map and said only one word. Regenesis. End of part 2. Suspense close. The camera zooms out. In a hidden chamber somewhere else in the galaxy, ancient machines begin to activate, without anyone touching them. A cold mechanical voice whispers from deep space. Primary human signature confirmed. Beginning wake protocol. Narration style. Simple English storytelling format. Inside the space station, Zirak stayed close to the human. He was no longer just a test subject. He had become a mystery, and maybe a warning. Each night, the human dreamed. But his dreams were not normal. He would wake up screaming names of dead alien generals. He spoke in forgotten languages. He drew machines and weapons no longer in use. Zirak recorded everything. Voiceover. These are not just dreams. They are memories from a time before time. But how? Scene. The lab. Zirak talks to the council. Zirak begged the council to let him travel with the human, to visit the place on the map, the core vault. The council refused. That place is locked forever, they said. It holds the remains of the human empire. We sealed it for a reason. But behind their words was fear. They remembered what humans had built there: superweapons, ancient AI, and data that could rewrite entire species. Back in the lab, something changes. That night, the human asked for silence. He sat on the floor, closed his eyes, and placed his hand on the metal surface. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Zirak's scanners went wild. A strange energy, old but powerful, moved through the station. When the lights came back, the human stood up and said, "They're calling me." They never stopped. I just couldn't hear them. Until now. Scene shift. Far away. Inside the core vault deep, in the locked region of space, in total darkness, ancient machines begin to wake up. The security codes start changing on their own. A locked AI core opens slightly and whispers in a dead language, "Human echo detected. Identity found." Zirak's internal thoughts, voiceover style. He's not just a human, he is a living password, a key. His blood, his brain, it is the code. Someone made him like this. But who? And why now? New discovery, Zirak checks. The DNA scans again. This time, he looks deeper, and then he finds it. Layered memory blocks, hidden deep inside the human's genes. These blocks are not natural. They were implanted thousands of years ago. That means this human was not born by chance. He was made. Suspense. End. The human walks up to Zirak and says, "You feel it too, don't you? Something big is coming." Zirak gulps. "What is it?" The human answers, "The past is returning, and it's angry." Fade to black. As they crossed into the zone, the ship's lights flickered. The stars outside seemed to disappear, but the human remained calm. "This is where it happened," he said. "The final war. The day humanity disappeared." Zirak looked at him. "You were alive back then?" The human replied, "No, but a part of me was." Scene. Arrival at the core vault in the middle of the darkness, they saw it. A massive structure floating in space. It looked like a broken planet, but with walls, made of black metal and glowing symbols. It was the core vault, the last base of the old human empire. As their ship got close, ancient defense systems activated. Lasers aimed at them, shields came online. The ship was about to be destroyed. But then, everything stopped. The vault scanned the human. A robotic voice echoed across space. "Human access confirmed. Welcome home." The doors opened. Inside the vault, Zirak and his team followed the human into the heart of the structure. There were old machines everywhere, some destroyed, others sleeping. And then they found a massive room. Inside it were glowing pods, memory capsules, blueprints, weapons, and alien data. This was a library of war, a graveyard of power. Zirak looked around in awe. "This place, it's a superweapon," the human nodded. "No, it's worse. It's a backup for everything. We once were." Discovery. Project Regenesis. On the central console, they found a file. One word flashed on the screen. Project Regenesis. Zirak tapped it. A hologram appeared, showing hundreds of DNA samples, AI cores, planet maps, and sleeper codes. The message said, "If the galaxy forgets, we will return." This was a plan to rebuild the human empire, if ever destroyed. Twist ending. Suddenly, the vault began to power up. Lights came on. Engines deep inside the station roared. A signal was sent across space. Zirak panicked. "What did you do?" The human stood silently. "I didn't activate it," he said. "It woke up because I arrived." Far away in distant parts of the galaxy, hidden machines started turning on. Old satellites began broadcasting a single message: Regenesis protocol active. Alarms blared. Emergency meetings were called. The old races, the Xeon, the Lothari, the Marnock, all gathered in fear. "Humanity is returning. We sealed the vault. How did it open? Who let this happen?" One council elder stood and shouted, "Destroy Earth! Destroy the vault! Before it's too late!" But another voice warned, "No, we attack. We trigger the old defense systems, and if those awaken, no army in the galaxy can stop them." Scene shift. Inside the core. Vault Zirak watched as systems inside the vault slowly came online. AI screens lit up. Memory pods opened. Drones started flying, scanning, rebuilding. The vault was healing itself. "This place, it's alive," Zirak whispered. The human was quiet. He walked into a dark chamber marked with ancient symbols. Inside, there was a cryopod, and in it, a human child. Zirak stared in shock. "What is this?" The human replied, "It's not just me. There were others, seeds, waiting." Plot development, the Regenesis message, then a final message played from the vault's AI. Regenesis was never meant to conquer. It was built to remember. But if humanity is attacked again, we will not fall alone. Zirak turned pale. He understood now. The vault was not just a memory base. It was a threat, a warning to the galaxy. If they try to destroy us again, everything burns with us. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, some alien worlds began to panic. Some prepared weapons. Some sent ships toward Earth. Others began to flee. But in the shadows, something else began to move. Old enemies of the human empire, long forgotten, hiding in deep space, felt the signal too. They were not afraid. They were waiting. "Let the humans return," one dark voice whispered. "This time, we will finish what we started." Final scene. The human speaks. Zirak stands next to the human, watching the galaxy respond in fear. He asks, "Do you think they will come for us?" The human replies, "They will, but it won't matter." Zirak stares. "Why not?" The human turns, eyes glowing faintly. "Because we never came back to ask for peace. We came back to remember who we are." The attack begins. Zirak watched from a screen inside the vault as enemy ships appeared. He turned to the human. "They're coming!" The human didn't blink. He simply said, "Then they've made their choice." Zirak looked worried. "We can't fight all of them." The human stepped forward. "I'm not the one who will fight." He placed his hand on a console. The vault's walls began to shift. Machinery unfolded. Floors split open. And then they rose. The Sentinels, ancient human war machines, tall, silent, powerful, dormant for thousands of years. Until now. Scene. The battle in space. The Council's fleet fired first. Laser beams, plasma bombs, planet crackers. But before the blasts could hit the vault, shields activated. Old shields, layered deep into its core. Then the Sentinels launched into space, fast, silent, cold. They didn't talk. They didn't show mercy. They disabled entire cruisers in seconds. They cut through enemy shields like paper. Zirax stared at the screen, heart racing. This isn't war. This is something else. Cutaway, inside the enemy fleet admirals. Screamed, "Retreat! Retreat!" But it was too late. The AI defenses had learned every alien tactic within minutes. Human tech was not just strong, it was adaptive. For every move the enemy made, the vault changed its response. One by one, ships began to fall. No sound, no warning, just death. Scene. Zirax confronts. The human Zirax grabbed the human's arm. "You said you came to remember, not to destroy." The human looked at him calmly. "I'm not destroying anyone. I'm just unlocking what they locked away." Zirax's voice trembled. "Then why are they dying?" The human answered softly. "Because they still think of us as a threat. They forgot what we were trying to protect them from." Plot twist. The real enemy. Awakes far away, in deep space, an ancient signal was received by something dark and alive. Not human, not alien. Something much worse, a forgotten enemy. The true reason why humanity created the vault. The true reason why the galaxy feared their return. And now, it was coming too. Final words, voiceover from the human. We were never the monsters. We were the wall that kept them out. But the wall is cracking, and the galaxy is not ready for what's behind it. Fade to black. Scene. The forgotten signal in deep space, far beyond any known star, old ruins shifted, a black spire lit up. Something ancient opened its eyes. Not machine, not life, but a void in the shape of thought. "Human activity detected," it whispered. Time to complete extinction. The thing had waited for this moment. The vault's signal had reached it. The last human presence had called it back. Scene. Inside the vault, Zirax stared at the human, afraid. "What is coming?" The human's voice was calm. "The real reason we were erased. The enemy that feeds on evolution itself." Zirax's eyes widened. "You don't mean—" "Yes," the human said. "The architects of silence." Flashback hologram, a vault recording played. It showed galaxies burning, races consumed, planets folded into darkness. The architects had come once before, not to destroy, but to erase all intelligence, all memory. They wanted a quiet galaxy, but one species had stopped them. Humans. Truth revealed, we created the vault not to conquer, the human said. We created it to hold the line, to stop them when they returned. Zirax whispered. So you were never the monsters? We were the shield. And when the shield fell, the galaxy forgot why it existed. Scene. Final decision. The architects were approaching. No army could stop them. Only ancient human tech stood a chance. But to activate the final weapon, the Genesis engine, the human would have to give up everything. His mind, his body, his past lives. Zirax tried to stop him. You'll die! The human smiled for the first time. I already have, many times. One last time, for all of us. Climax. The sacrifice. He entered the heart of the vault, placed his hand on the core. The entire structure began to glow. The vault wasn't a weapon. It was a seed, ready to explode into new life, a light strong enough to erase even the architects, as the energy rose. The human's voice echoed. This is not the end of humanity. It's the reason we were made. Remember us, not as conquerors, but as the ones who stood in the dark, so you could live in the light. Ending, peace or fear. The vault vanished, turned into pure light. The architects were gone. The galaxy was safe, for now, but no one ever saw the human again. Zirak returned home. He told the story, and across the stars, a question remained. If one human could do this, what would happen if they all returned? Final line. Now the galaxy remembers, and it is afraid again. Fade to black.